Hey friends, today I'm going to show you the series that I want to read in 2019. So I'm kind of calling this Back to the Roots because I'm just really missing just marathoning through a whole series. That is something that I used to do all the time. I used to read a book, and when I liked it, I would already in the middle of it buy the sequels, and then I would marathon the whole series. And you will find a lot of wrap-ups where I talk about a whole trilogy because that's just what I used to do, and that's what I really love doing, but I've been slacking a lot due to arcs or due to me reading more contemporaries. But I just really want to get back to it, especially because there are a lot of first books and series on my TBR, and I feel like they are really kind of falling short. So I have come up with a list of 11 series that I finally want to read in 2019. That does definitely seem intimidating, but a lot of the series are trilogies, so it's also not like I have chosen like 6-book series, and I don't know. Considering that I read about 100 books every year, knowing that this is around a third of my reading is definitely intimidating. But I also am anticipating that there's probably gonna be at least like 2 series in here where I maybe just don't enjoy them that much and realize I don't want to continue, or where I maybe do enjoy them but I read not so good things about the sequel and feel like the first book ended on a good note. And I don't know, like, things always happen, but I just wanted to make a list of the 11 series that I really want to read in 2019, because I feel like that really kind of sets this goal in stone. It's not just like a random kind of wishy-washy goal, but it's an actual goal, and it's something that I can actually track. And a lot of these series are just series that I've been wanting to read for years anyway. So, you know, it's like a general goal. If I end up marathoning more series, that's great, but these are supposed to be the priorities. These are all series where I already own the first book in either physical form or ebook form, and it is all series that are already finished. In no particular order, the first one I want to talk about is the Fire and Thorns trilogy by Ray Carson. I've talked about this a little bit at the end of 2018 because I was trying to push myself to read it before the year was up, but there was just too much going on, so I didn't get to it. But this is like, I just need to read it. I just need to read it because I have a feeling like I'm gonna love it, and even if I don't, I just want to know. It is a trilogy, and I just fucking need to read it. Honestly, like, I just can't go on any longer without reading this bloody series. Then I have the Malediction trilogy by Daniel L. Jensen. The first one is A Stolen Songbird, and I have also been owning this for quite a long while and have also been, wanting to read this for quite a long while because I've heard amazing things about this trilogy, but also it's not really the kind of story that I think it's about, like, is it about trolls? I have not really, worked well with these kinds of books in the past. So while I'm like super excited about this because of what people have said, at the same time I'm also like, am I gonna love it though? It does give me good vibes. Then I have the Young Elites trilogy by Mary Lou. Now this is one of those trilogies where I was super excited when it got first announced, and then I was like, but I'm gonna wait, till all of the books are released, and now all of the books have been released for a little while and I still haven't even started this. I think I'm really gonna like it. It's interesting because I didn't really love Legend by Mary Lou, but I did love Warcross, so I'm excited to see where this one falls. But knowing that it's about like a morally great character, and I think the villains are more in the forefront in this series, I think that is going to be really interesting and just really something that I would enjoy. And judging from this first book, I think all of the books are kind of short, quick reads. So this is definitely about time, because it's just a series that I feel like a lot of people have read. Like with A Stolen Songbird and Gall of Fire and Thorns, like, I don't really hear people talk about it, and I don't really hear people talk about this one anymore either, but I still think it is a trilogy that a lot of people have read, so I just want to know, Then I have the Firebird trilogy by Claudia Gray. The first one is 1,000 Pieces of You, and this is another one that for a long while was so hyped and everyone and their mother loved it, and I just didn't get to it, but now I've been owning it for a while. I do think this is a kind of trilogy that I might not enjoy anymore. Like, I would have maybe enjoyed it like 3 years ago, but I'm not really sure if I'm still into this kind of story. A lot of the like high fantasy, epic fantasy kind of trilogies, I will probably enjoy them for the rest of my life. But this definitely feels like it was very timely at the time when it came out and when it was talked about. And I'm just no longer sure if it's still gonna be for me, if it's still something that I want to read and that I want to invest time in. But at the same time, I'm also really hoping that I am gonna love it. I love the cover. That's definitely one of the reasons why I was excited about it and why I initially put it on my TBR. But I have also heard amazing things about it. Another one that is about damn time. Then I have the Court of Fives trilogy by Kate Elliott. This is on here because Court of Fives is actually in my 5-star predictions, which The Girl of Fire and Thorns is on my 5-star predictions as well, I'm pretty sure. See, I have at this point even forgotten which books were initially on my 5-star predictions. So that really means I need to start reading those books. I was doing well in the beginning with the 5-star predictions, and then at one point I just... it fell apart. But Court of Fives is something that I'm just very intrigued by, that I've heard some people say good things about it. Not a lot of people even know about this, but I have seen a lot of people say that it's like a super underrated YA fantasy trilogy, and I think it might be up my alley. And especially because sometimes with these 5-star predictions that are first books in a series, it will happen that I maybe don't 5-star the first book, but I will 5-star the second or third book. So it's in particular important to me to put this on this list as well, not just to read the first book as a potential 5-star prediction, but to make sure that I read the whole trilogy, because one of those books might be a 5-star, even if this one is not. Then I have the Glass trilogy by Maria V. Snyder. I think Sea Glass is the first one, I'm not sure. I do already own the complete trilogy because I really loved the kind of trilogy that is set before this, the study trilogy, and so I just knew I wanted to have all 3 books, especially because when I bought these, I already had in mind that I would kind of marathon these. These are kind of long and dense and a little bit slow, so this is probably not a trilogy that I will read in 1 month, but I definitely want to read them pretty close to each other, and I just really want to continue with this trilogy so that in 2020 I can read the Soulfinder trilogy. I don't know exactly. I get a little bit confused with this series all the time, but just the trilogy that comes after this one. So this definitely has to happen because this actually focuses on a different character than the first trilogy, and I'm sure I'm gonna like this, but I want to go back to the original characters, so I think that might be a good motivation for me as well to get through these as quickly as possible. Then I have The Air Chronicles by Cinda Williams-Chimer. This honestly is up there in like top 3 because I think I'm really gonna love these. I don't know how or why, I just have this feeling about this series. I don't even know a lot about it, but I think I'm expecting Graceling Realm vibes or like Remnant Chronicle vibes, Poison Study vibes, Grave Mercy vibes. These kinds of vibes is what I'm expecting from it, and these are just vibes that I love. So I'm expecting to love the series as well. And this is, I think, a 5-book series, so that is super special because I am reading quite a lot of trilogies, and so far everything that I've mentioned was trilogies, and I definitely need to dive into longer series again too. So, you know, this is definitely not super intimidating because it is like a YA fantasy that I think is gonna be very much like the kind of YA fantasy that I like. You know, it's different than picking up like a 6-book adult fantasy series by an author that I've never read about. You know, and I mean, I've never read Cinda Williams-Chimer either, but I just feel like this is just, even though I've never read something from this author, I just think that this is in an area that I feel very comfortable in. So yeah, this needs to happen super soon. I also really want to read more by Cinda Williams-Chimer. That's another reason I finally want to get to this one so that I can read more by her. Then I have the Falling Kingdom series by Morgan Rhodes. This I actually own a physical copy of, but it doesn't have a dust jacket. So I'm just going to give you a picture. This is a 6-book series, and when the second or third book came out, I was like, oh my god, I need to read this. I need to like be hyped with everyone. This sounds so, like something that I would really love, and then I never got to it, and now the final book is out and everyone disliked the final book. So I'm really interested to see what I think about it. I think a lot of people who were disappointed by the first book were people who started the first book when it initially came out. So I am interested to see how I feel about it, like reading the whole series today. I feel like as a huge YA fantasy lover, it is a disgrace that I have not read this series for years and years. I've heard about it and I've heard about characters and I'm already excited to meet these characters, and so this needs to happen real bad. Then I have the Conqueror's Saga by Kirsten White. This is the first book, And I Darken, and this has 3 books as well. I was initially not even going to read this trilogy, but then my friend Elise from The Bookish Actress said that it's really good, and she wrote this amazing tweet to me, like this amazing blurb, and just really hyped this for me, and I was just like, holy shit, now I need to read it because it just sounded that good. So then I basically immediately bought it. I feel like because I initially wasn't really planning on reading it, I don't have like a huge excitement about it, but whenever I look back at that tweet, I'm like, there was a reason why I basically immediately bought this, So this is definitely something that I just don't want to, push back any longer, so that I don't lose the excitement that I have kind of built up. I love these covers. This trilogy has some amazing covers. So I'm kind of like, hopefully I love it so that I can buy all of them in these pretty hardcover editions. Then I have the Assassin's Heart duology. I know that it is kind of based on Romeo and Juliet. It's like forbidden romance between like 2 people from like 2 different kingdoms, something like that. I love this cover, which is definitely a big part as to why this drew me in. But also, this is one of those books where I was like, I'm gonna wait till the second book is out and I can marathon the series. And then the second book came out and I didn't do anything about it. So it is time, and it's just a duology, so it's not intimidating in any sense. This is another one that was kind of hyped when it first came out, and now nobody talks about it anymore. So, I don't know. I feel like in a way I'm like, gonna read all of these and nobody's gonna care about it, and like I don't have anybody to talk to, but still, I've just been really excited about this one. So, And finally, I have the Falconer trilogy by Elizabeth May. This is actually one where I'm like, oh my god, I need to read this because the first book is on my 5-star prediction and I don't think it's gonna be a 5-star book anymore. So this is one of those cases where I actually waited so long to read these 5-star predictions that I am feeling like I'm not gonna give it 5 stars anymore. So that's bad. I've said it before, a lot of as to why I really want to read this is because Elizabeth May seems like the coolest fucking person, and she is so loud on Twitter, and I love it. I love it so much. And I also said this before, I just love covers with red-haired women on the cover. I know Elizabeth May herself has very bright, fiery red hair. That's a motivation for me. And I just need to get this out of the way because I think this is gonna be a totally okay trilogy for me. But I'm like, at this point, I'm like, sure, the first book is not gonna be a 5-star. Which, if I prove myself wrong, great. But it's just like, I'm getting to a point where I'm changing my mind about my 5-star predictions. And that's just ridiculous. So this needs to happen. So yeah, these are my 11 series that I hope to finally read, and I mean completely read, in 2019. We're gonna see how I'm gonna do, but this is definitely something where I'm not just like, I'm doing this video right now, and then we'll just like randomly look back at it and we're gonna react to it and laugh about how I didn't read any of those. No. This one I'm taking seriously. I wrote all of these down. I did little like boxes so I can check them off. I am taking this serious. I don't know what's gonna happen to my life in 2019. I could be very, very busy and then I will just not get to it. But just as a thing, I'm taking it very seriously. I'm not just gonna let this run like, whatever, we'll see. No, I'm taking this seriously. So if I have time, these are gonna get read. And I am so excited about it. It is a challenge, and I need to force myself. That's also why I'm doing this video, because usually doing videos about it helps me to force myself. But I'm also really, really excited because this is what I want to do. This is me. This is back to the roots, literally. So yeah, I obviously want to know if you love any of these series and if you are particularly excited for me to pick any of these up. I need all of your motivation and positive and good thoughts. Obviously, you can also let me know if you didn't like any of those and why you didn't like them, so that I have a little bit of a better picture what I can expect going into it. But encouraging words and excited words about any of these are very much appreciated. Anyway, I make new videos every Wednesday and Sunday with occasional reviews on Friday, so click subscribe to never miss anything and hit the little bell so you get notified as well. And thank you so much for watching. I guess I'll see you soon. Bye!